Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're on 8.2, writing a two-step equation. Remember, as we go, you need to be taking notes. You're looking for the learning targets. Why are you watching this video? What are you supposed to be able to do when you're done? And also, any questions you have, write down examples, definitions, and the such.
They make only itty bitty bagels now, and they're really cheap too.
They make tiny bagels now? Well, so can I. The shaky mini cheese bagel maker can't figure out how to calculate the price of each bagel for bagels 1 to 12. Write an equation the bagel maker could use to calculate the cost of each of the first 12 bagels. Explain your reasoning.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, this is where you're going to want to pull up your companion page and start to work on your companion page. If you don't have it, feel free to go ahead and pause this video and copy from this one into your notes. You may do either way, whichever works best to you. And don't forget, best for you, and don't forget the reflection at the bottom. Okay, go ahead and pause at this time. Hi ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming back. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the solution page so we compare what you wrote versus what they came up with. It says you can represent the problem as 12 times b plus 0.13 or 13/100ths, which will equal 5.53, letting b represent the cost of one bagel. The 13 cents represents the cost of the 13 bagel, and the value of 12 bagels and the 13th bagel should equal $5.53 as the equation shows. So this is saying if we buy 12 at the cost of a bagel, what's it going to cost for those 12 plus the 13th one is 13 cents, which is going to be a total of $5.53. So then we come and we will reflect on it, and remember this can be a different explanation, but the same as it is no. The first bagels are the first 12 bagels and the 13th bagel have different values. They're costing different. So when you can't use 13 times b, because that's just going to tell you at a given price all 13 are going to be equal. And if you buy one bagel, it's not going to be the same as that 13th bagel. Because you know the value of the 13th bagel, you can show it as the 13 cents in the equation. Okay, so let's go ahead and close that out and let's do some practice. Coming up to the examples. Remember, you can always pause and rewatch as you need to, or go back to specific sections that are confusing.
The length of an average toucan is about 2/3 the length of an average blue and yellow macaw. Toucans are about 24 inches long. Write an equation to represent this situation.
Okay, so they want us to do it in words first and then write it out in an equation where we'll have some numbers and some letters or variables. So go ahead and pause and do this in your notes. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming back. Let's compare. They came up with some words as the length of the toucan is equal to 2/3 of the length of the blue and yellow macaw. So they're saying let L represent the length of the average blue and yellow macaw. So if we know that the length of the toucan is 24, that's going to equal 2/3 times whatever the length of the blue and yellow macaw is. So our equation is going to look like 24 equals 2/3 times L. Notice I used a cursive L because if you use just a lowercase print L, it can and often does look like a 1 and can be confusing. Go ahead and pause and copy this into your notes if it's different. Reflect to see how it is different or what is the same with what you had came up with. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the next question.
A zookeeper takes care of 5 mountain lions. The keeper orders 32 and 5/10 pounds of meat for them each day. Each mountain lion receives the same amount. What equation can you use to find how much meat each mountain lion eats in a day?
Okay, so let's think about this. We have 5 mountain lions and they're each going to get the same amount. and that needs to equal a total of 32.5 pounds. How can we start to write this as an equation? So let's see some answer choices. We can either say M, so I'm assuming we're going to say let M equal the mountain lions. If you take the mountain lions, divide it by 5 and get 32.5. Or we say the total is 32.5 and that 5 times M is what that's going to equal. Or maybe it's meat. I think that's what the M is for. I'm sorry, M for meat. So meat divided by 5 equals 32.5. Or 32.5 equals 5 times the pounds of meat. Or do we have 32.5 where we have 5 divided by the pounds of meat? Or are we going to take the 32.5 times the pounds of meat to equal 5? Can we rule out a couple of these? I think we can rule out D right away, correct? Because we know it's 32.5 pounds of meat that they're going to use for the total day, and that we need to divide that among the 5 mountain lions. So, oh, did I just give a hint there? We have a total of 32.5 pounds of meat, and we need to have that divided among the 5. So we need to know what each one's going to get. So think about that. If you need a pause to think, go ahead. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let's look at the solution. We have the pounds of meat, M, and we know that that is 32.5 total pounds. And then we have the number of mountain lions. We know that is 5. But we needed to know how much meat each one was going to get. So that was the M. So if we take 5 times the number of each is going to get, then we will find that it is a total of 32.5. Go ahead and copy this into your notes. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. I'm just trying to get number 2 example to pull up. Maybe. Learning patience, aren't we?
A two-step equation is an equation that has two operations. Many real-world problems need more than one operation to describe the situation. Consider the photographer's situation. A photography student wants to buy a digital camera that costs $269.95. She plans to make a down payment of $100 and pay the remainder in 5 equal monthly payments. Write an equation to represent this situation. Start by thinking about the information you are given and what you need to find. You know that the cost of the camera is $269.95. The amount of the down payment is $100. The number of monthly payments is 5. Now you're ready to turn the words into an equation. First, the words. The cost equals the down payment plus the number of payments times the amount of each payment. Let P represent the unknown quantity, the amount of each payment. Use the information that you were given to write the equation. The equation 269.95 equals 100 plus 5 times P represents this situation.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, what we're trying here is to decipher and take out the information we know. So if we think about the no-need plan, we're looking at what do we know, and then we're using the plan as words to the equation, and that's how we go from knowing, okay, if I know the cost, I know the down payment, I know the number of payments, and I know the amount of each payment, and if I let P represent the payments, since that's the piece I'm needing to find, let me plug in the information that I know. And then from that, we can set the equation up. We're eventually going to be solving this equation, but first we need to know how to write the equation. Please make sure you have this copied into your notes, so pause if you need to.
An orange grower ships oranges in boxes that weigh 10 kilograms each. Each orange weighs 0.2 of a kilogram. use to find the number of oranges packed in each box?
It's easy to focus on the oranges in this problem since you have to have the weight of one orange and the total weight of the box when it's filled with oranges. But don't forget that the box has weight before any oranges are put inside it. So the total weight really has two parts, the weight of the oranges being shipped and the weight of the box itself. That's why you need a two-step equation.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, let's think about that. What do we know and how can we put this into words? So we know that each orange weighs 2/10 of a kilogram. We know the box weighs 10 kilograms. We know the total weight of a box filled of oranges is 50 kilograms. We want to write an equation that we could use to find the number of oranges in a box, or in each box. So go ahead and pause while you try to work this out. Okay, thank you for coming back. So let's see, we have the total weight, and we happen to know that's 50. We know the weight of each box is 10. We know the weight of each orange is 2/10. We just needed to find the number of oranges we could put in each box. We're going to let n represent the number of oranges. So if we look at this, we have 50 equals 10 plus the weight of each orange times the number of oranges that we're going to have. So this is our equation. And we can start to solve this, but at this point our goal is to learn how to write them.
You have a 125-pound calf that you are raising for a 4-H project. You expect the calf to gain 65 pounds per month. Write an equation to find how many months it will take for the calf to weigh 1,000 pounds.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and try thinking about the equation you would need. You're thinking about the 65 pounds per month, what it's starting at, and that we wanted to weigh 1,000 pounds. So we know we needed to equal 1,000 pounds. We just need to find out how many months is it going to take at 65 pounds per month. So I'm going to give you some choices to look at and see if you can decipher through which one of these you believe would be the correct one. Go ahead and pause at this time while you look at this. Okay, thank you for coming back. As we see, let me show back here real quick. The answer was B, and this is why. We have the weight, the final weight, the initial, so beginning weight, how much weight per month, and the number of months. We're going to say X being the number of months. We knew the the end weight, what we want to weigh at the end of the time was 1,000 pounds. We know it began when we got it at 125 pounds. We know that it was going to gain 65 pounds each month. So this is the number of months we just need to find. So we have the 1,000 pounds is equal to the 125 it began at times 65 pounds per month. Okay, go ahead and go through your notes, look to see what the learning target is. There is going to be a part 2 to this video, so make sure that you do watch it. Thank you very much.